I want to talk to you about an alternative unit that we use for power consumption, which is the kWh, slightly awkward looking one, and it's called the kilowatt hour. Okay, now you may have seen this on energy bills for your electricity consumption, okay, or if you haven't, ask your parents to show you the bills, you'll see them quite clearly on there. Okay, often when we get our bills, they'll tell us that it's been consumed in, say, amounts of kilowatt hours. You'll be told how many kilowatt hours you've used every day and your total kilowatt consumption, and then it might even tell you how much each kilowatt hour is worth. Okay, we've talked already about energy consumption being measured, for example, in joules. Well, kilowatt hours is a slightly kind of different way of looking at the same thing. And it's actually possible, as we see, to turn kilowatt hours into joules. It's just an alternative unit similar to things like calories, just another way of looking at the same problem. So we've got a unit for energy consumption. The reason that we would do this is because typically the things that we use in the home, could be your computer, could be your kettle, could be your fridge, work on quite high power consumptions of the order of kilowatts. And we use them for hours. I mean, take the example of a fridge, it's always on. So it's being used for 24 hours. So sometimes when we convert those energies into joules, they start taking on values that we don't really understand. Okay, I'll show you an example here. If we want to turn a kilowatt hour into joules, well, a kilowatt is 1,000 watts, and an hour is 60 minutes times 60 seconds. Okay, so 3,600. So actually, we multiply those two things, 1,000 and 3,600 together, and we end up with a value of 1 kilowatt hour, which is 1,000 times 60 times 60, 3,600,000 joules. That's a lot of joules, and actually it's easier for us to understand that it's the same amount of energy as a 1 kilowatt appliance used for 1 hour. Okay, now the equation that we've used there is exactly the same. All we've done is expressed our energy in kilowatt hours is equal to the power in kilowatts multiplied by the time in hours. And you'll see in the following exercise what you need to do in order to make sense of it. Now you see this table here, it's task 3, for those of you following. Okay, we've got a kettle, for example, and its power is 1.2 kilowatts. Well, if we switch on for 30 minutes, that's half an hour. So if we want to measure the amount of energy used in kilowatt hours, all we do is multiply the number of kilowatts by the number of hours. So that's going to be 1.2 times 0.5, which is 0.6. Okay, we'll do another example, the heater. 2 kilowatts times 5 hours, that's going to be 10 kilowatt hours. Okay, obviously we could then turn these into joules, but 10 kilowatt hours is a slightly easier number for us to remember than 36 million joules. Okay, and what you're going to do is try and calculate the following ones here, and then see if your answers compare with mine. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts.